Welcome to Enchanted Moments Podcast. I'm Monica.
I'm Spencer.
And we're going to talk about soul contracts. In one of our previous podcasts, we talked about the difference between soul and spirit. So now we want to talk about what the soul does in between incarnations. Okay? Doesn't have to be an earthly incarnation, but because that's what we know, we're going to stay there.
Yeah.
Okay? So we don't have to go to other planets. First of all, when you die, your soul goes back to the monadic level.
Mm-hmm.
And in that place or existence, it decides what experiences it needs to become more perfected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I don't like people to tell me that I had to learn something or it was a teachable moment, or I think it's an experience. Mm-hmm. Because we judge if it's a lesson.
Yeah.
You know, that means you didn't do something and you needed to do something else. But I don't believe that's true. I think the soul comes in to experience different things,
mm-hmm.
not, have a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. It's how my brain works. I apologize if it's not the way everybody else's brain works, but
experiences just sounds more positive to me.
Well, it doesn't have an association.
Well, okay, true.
We don't have to judge whether it's a
positive
or negative experience. It's just an experience. And that's how our soul sees it. Our minds do the judging, but the soul just has the experience, collects it, puts it in its little soul pocket, and takes it back when it's finished. So it has that time, and whatever time is there, to decide what experiences it needs to be able to be fulfilled and completed. And when it does that, it does work with other beings and souls to decide how to make those things happen. Sometimes I was asked to come back because the souls that were incarnating into my family wanted me to be part of that for their experience. Why? I don't know, because I don't remember, obviously. But God bless them, they left and I'm still here.
Yeah, so when you say that, do you mean like your parents? Or?
My parents, because you can create soul families,
mm-hmm.
They don't have to be your physical family.
Right.
But my physical family asked for my soul to be part of their experience. So I could have said no, but I didn't, obviously. So Here I am. I don't think I can say I enjoyed the experience 100%, but it's okay. We do what we do.
It.
I did. But we do have other families, other soul families. So I would suspect that when your mom and I picked this lifetime, we figured we'd find some way to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have lasted so long. And it worked out well.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope my experience wasn't to lose her, but it could have been. Mm-hmm. You never know. Mm-hmm. But yes, we have other souls that we're going to be close with.
Mm-hmm.
And people that you spend a lot of time with. If you look through your life, look at what's going on in your life and who's in your life and maybe why, what experiences you're supposed to share with them. It could be marriages, it could be friendships, it could, many things. There's people that I'm sure are in and out of your life that you had experiences with, and maybe they're finished and you're finished with it. It doesn't,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a lifelong connection.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Some souls are born and die right away. And we're very sad about that, but it's an experience that someone was supposed to have. So maybe those parents or that person or that group of souls that they were born into needed that experience, to get their soul contract complete.
Yeah.
We can't know.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so many. I mean, it's unlimited what a soul could be deciding to experience. And sometimes I think that you have to agree to be a certain person that you may not think is okay, you know? So, you know, how did we end up with, you know, millions of Nazis? I mean, you have to think, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And who would have come in and chosen as a huge soul group to be in a concentration camp, you know? But they did. And maybe it was for a greater good on a planetary scale, that they could see as souls that, you know, as people here, we don't. And those are longer term processes that they set into motion. So it was horrifying to us, and nobody, you think, would I choose that? But the souls do, because they're not our physical bodies. They're not making the same mental choices that we would make as human beings. But we could be in a soul group that comes in individually, as a family, as a physical family, as groups of friends, for short-term reasons, for longer-term reasons, or for extended planetary reasons.
When you say extended planetary reasons?
Because when groups of souls come in and it's part of a bigger process, it's a lasting change, or yeah. So, yeah, it makes it a broader kind of contract than just I'm coming to experience something. I'm coming to do something that's going to have an effect on the world. So, and that is definitely a possibility. Sometimes I think groups of people, I believe, come in at certain times in a planet's, you know, in the Earth's development, during major shifts in technology and spirituality. They're here, and they're here for that experience. So I think big groups of souls decide to do that, which takes it to a bigger larger fractal experience than just the individual lifetime. But if that soul completes its, you know, experience, it can stay or go. They say, different teachers have said, you know, you have exit points in your life, different points of time when you can take that exit or not. That's why people who are desperately, I mean, here's a guy who was shot, say in World War I, and II, whatever, and he's barely hit, but dies. And then there's somebody who's like blown up who keeps going. Yeah. You know, you're making a choice at some point. You aren't physically, right? But your soul is making a choice. Do I stay or do I go? And, you know, that's a point in time that allows that decision to be made. You know, near drowning, near death experiences. Why didn't they go? Well, it wasn't time. You know, there was either more to do, or they continued that experience and stay. But everybody is responsible for their soul's, you know, journey. It's why we try to explain to people why suicide is not an option. If there's a mental health issue and it's not really a conscious decision, that doesn't count. I mean, any more than if a child did something and they didn't know the consequences, for example, that, you know, you can't say they did it on purpose. But if you sit down and make a decision, gee, I owe too much money, or my heart is broken and blah, 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 and I want to just end this now, I understand the desire to do so. But when you do that consciously as an avoidance of something, then you have to redo it.
Mm.
You know, that experience you were having, you agreed to. So you're supposed to have those experiences play out. You know, it is what it is. You try to explain that you're not going to come back and do it exactly the same way.
Right.
But you're going to have challenges that, you know, your soul asked for. And you want to finish that out. You know, that's just kind of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes to talk about it, but bottom line is, if there's a way to keep that from happening, it's good for everybody to try to help. Yeah. Because it's just not going to solve the problem. That experience is going to come up sometime. You know, you may decide not to have it the next time or the next time or the next time or the next time, but at some point you're going to have to deal with that experience. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh gosh, that's like procrastinating in real life though, too.
Yeah. Well,
Can't get away from something.
Your soul gets to make a decision. It doesn't have to complete it. We aren't judged on whether we complete it or not. It just means you do it another time. Mm-hmm. You know, in the scheme of things, time for us is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul, this is like you blink.
Mm-hmm.
So it has plenty of what we consider time to get all those experiences taken care of. You know, it's unfortunate, but a contract is a contract. And, you know, you can change your plan and just ignore it because that's a possibility. But once you buy into it, you should finish it. Definitely. And it doesn't mean anybody doesn't go to the next dimension or heaven or whatever. That's it. There's no punishment associated with it other than you're going to have to deal with it again. Yep. And we all choose things in different ways. Maybe the soul thought it could deal with it and it couldn't, so it's going to pick something different next time. Mm-hmm. Or take a couple restful lifetimes. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, there's no way we get all the information when we ask questions of the other realms, but that is one that is supposed to be completed. On a happier note, there is no, when we talk about soulmates, you know, you're not being completed by someone else. It's just someone that you've been with probably many times. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Mm-hmm. It can be a friend or a family member who's close. They can be just souls that you're very, very comfortable with and it seems like you've known them forever. That's a soulmate. So you might have them as a lover or what, you know, or just a friend.
Just anybody,
it doesn't have to be a lifetime commitment. But there's a closeness because it's a very comfortable soul. So and a lot of times you meet people and you go, wow, you know, it just seems like it naturally, and they've probably been around with you for many times. So it's nice to have it in your life. But if you know, I wouldn't go searching for, you know, the other half of my soul.
Right.
Because I don't believe that exists. I think it's just a concept that people have come up with to explain their attraction to someone, you know, because you will, you know, doesn't mean you don't care about other people. You have this weird attraction for some person in your life, but they come and go. You know, you don't have to have one soulmate or one person in the world who's going to be your perfect mate. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, how miserable are a lot of people then if they never find that person who's now living in China? You know, I mean, that's not fair. It would be a horrible thing to do, you know, come into this lifetime and go, well, now I have to find that soulmate.
Yeah.
No. You just live your life in a way which, when joy comes your way, you accept it. So that's really the soulmate thing. Any questions?
Just when you mentioned soulmate, we hear a lot about this too. What are your thoughts on twin flame?
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Huh.
There is a belief system that says when we were created, part of the whole Adam and Eve punishment was to split souls in half, and that you'd be constantly leaving the garden. You're constantly looking for the other half of your being. I don't think that anyone would do that to someone else. It sounds terribly evil to me. I think that the whole analogy of, eating from the tree of knowledge and things that you weren't supposed to know is just that, an analogy. I don't believe we came from two people. That'd be a lot of incest. Yep. I don't know how you explain that away. We only had two people, and it doesn't work. At least it doesn't work for me in a logical sense. That doesn't mean it doesn't work for others in their system, no. But for me it just doesn't make sense. But no, I don't think. I think there's probably similarities between a soulmate and a twin flame, but I don't think you split that soul in any halves. I think that would be the most horrifying thing you could do.
Yeah, I didn't know
that's a cruel thing. Because my God, how many lifetimes would you have to go to try to find another half of your soul? And what if it never came on this planet? And I was like, you're always searching for something that's not ever going to be there. I think it's more of a soulmate kind of thing. I guess I don't understand why anyone would do that to another being.
Yeah.
I think that's just mean. I mean, it's, okay, we're going to split your soul and you're going to constantly search for it for the rest of your eternity. I mean, that just seems
feels
awful.
a
little serious to me. But I think people do find what they consider the other half of them, just because of that attraction and comfort in finding that person that you've probably been with a million times.
Yeah, just a convenient way to term it.
I don't know. I don't know how it ever started, honestly.
Yeah.
I have to look into that, but I cannot imagine a divine entity deciding that was an okay thing.
Yeah.
Awful to me. Although a lot of people believe in it. But I think it's mean and cruel, and I can't imagine. I mean, there's no hell in my belief system. No one I've ever talked to on the other side has had a hell. They created it for themselves if they did. So, in talking to my dad, his spirit has made his life not very happy because he felt that he had to have that. But you create that.
Oh.
Okay? And lots of help is offered to you. It's whether you take it or not. So, I don't know. He hasn't come through and shared what's going on in his afterlife right now. But
so sorry.
Yeah.
Last you spoke to him, he was currently going through a rough time, and oh man.
Yeah, well, he had a really strong belief system that you have to suffer for some of the things that you made some mistakes, you're going to suffer. Not true. You have that experience.
To have the experience.
How you handled it, part of the experience. Move on. But you have that ability in the next dimension to create your reality. You know, I prefer to have all the ice cream I can eat. You know, I mean, that's what the nuns used to tell us, you know, heaven was all the ice cream you want, you know, and it's like, that's the best thing we could think of at the time, I guess. But yeah, they're not altogether wrong, that we create those situations. There are healing temples. There are many places you can go and get help. When you cross over, you get a lot of help when you do your life review. Some of them are not fun, so they give you a lot of spiritual help to go through that. Then you're supposed to, you know, move on. Some people get stuck. So they'll eventually come to grips with it. When in our time, I don't know.
Okay, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
We have free will.
Yes.
But our souls have decided the experiences. So how do those coincide? How do we know, or is it just like a list of experiences that the soul wants to experience?
Correct.
And then we just kind of check them off as we
Yeah.
go through. Be like, oopsie, we did that one.
Yeah. Or put me in, I'm going to go into a situation where I will definitely have this experience.
Yeah.
However, you can just decide not to have them.
Okay.
You know, that's the free will part.
Right.
Yeah. The soul decides,
Mm-hmm.
comes in, does its thing, and when you're gone, then it has either had that or not. It just doesn't check it off the list. You know, and you don't go for 50 different experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah, because I was kind of thinking.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I would say. You know, if you're going to have the experience, you might as well really have the experience. Maybe this lifetime is for one. Or maybe this lifetime is a rest.
All right.
You know, you don't have to have, you don't have to work 24/7. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Spirit decides. So, you know, you decide, am I going to be that workaholic, or am I going to, you know, go with the flow and just let the experiences come? So that's definitely part of it. But yeah. Once you get to the other side, the sky's the limit. I mean, really, you're a spiritual being in a spiritual dimension. Create what you want. You know, it's. I am sure that Jerry played golf on his birthday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, my understanding is he's done a lot of art and a lot of other things that he really didn't have as much time for here. And he's doing a lot of that. Yeah. So, yeah. But it's whatever. And I'm sure that at some point, then he'll move on, and anybody who's in that dimension will move on to something else. You know, they're not just going to eat all the ice cream they want every day. I mean, you know what I mean? At some point that gets old.
Maybe that, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he'll never get tired of playing golf. But
That's what I'm thinking, right?
I don't know. But I think your spirit that at some point recognizes that it's time to do something different. The next step. There's always a next step. Yeah.
Tired of the stairs.
No. It's an adventure. I mean, just because your physical body is no longer with us doesn't mean the adventure stops.
Yeah.
That's the cool part.
So it's something I'm coming to terms with.
It's wonderful. The fun part is if you go back and do some past life work. I did work through the Monroe Institute, and we did a lot of experiences with that. And other planets are interesting places to have been. There's a lot out there. You know, we just assume this is our playground. And it is a very good one. And the Earth is gorgeous. And with all the physicality we have, and yeah, we have a gold mine. But it's not the only place. It's just existences are different and you do different things for different experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, adventure. Adventure. So, on to your next adventure. If you have questions, please leave comments. We will answer as best we can. And otherwise, go and enjoy life.
Have some experiences.
Have some good experiences. We're going to judge them. And
We're not.
We're not.
I'm not.
We will. We just go have experiences. But, love and light. See you next time.